Hey everybody, welcome to the last session of the series. So today I'm joined by Pavan. Pavan, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, sure, bro. Hi, everyone. I'm Pawan. I'm from India. I'm working as a DevOps engineer. And, we are working. I work with Azure as my cloud provider. So today we are having a session on Terraform Cloud, and yeah, let's learn together.
Yeah, thank you. And what part of India are you from?
Uh, uh, Southern part of India,
Oh yeah. What city?
Andhra Pradesh. Uh,
Oh yeah.
close to yeah, Chennai.
Close to Chennai. Cool. I'm speaking tomorrow at the Chennai meetup for the CNCF on Argo City. If you want to join that, I'll post it in the link later on.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll just share my screen and then we can get started. Um, all right, so here you can see that as we've been studying through this guide as well, so the last step here of HashiCorp Learn, exam review, you can see that this is the homework that you can do. So you can have understand Terraform Cloud and Enterprise capabilities. So up until now, we've been doing all the open source Terraform. Normally I use open source myself, but a lot of companies, sometimes if you don't have too many DevOps engineers or cloud engineers, it does make sense to use Terraform Cloud because then a lot of the stuff is sort of handled for you. So they have Sentinel, module registry, they have workspaces as well. And then they just have a little bit more features around authentication and things as well. So um, today I will follow the get started guide. So I've made a free account as well. So you can go just Google Terraform Cloud and then you can get started and try a free account. So let's try and do a log on. So if I say Terraform log on, let's see if, yeah, so let me just put this up a little bit as well. So it's saying Terraform request an API token from app.terraform.io. Using your browser, if the login is successful, then it will store the token in plain text in my in the Terraform file. So that's just something that to remember that will be stored locally. So now I'm just going to quickly do the login and then I'll put the screen back. So it's just going to ask me to log in with my password, and I've got the API token now as well. So that's created. I'm just going to save it and then I'll share my screen again.
Yeah, right. It's always important to uh, keep your passwords and stuff as secrets. You can use
Yeah,
the Terraform cloud secret also, or most all of the cloud providers like Azure gives you Azure Key Vault, and all the providers give you a way to safely store your password.
yeah. So you can see here and use the settings as well. I can just yeah, update my profile. So it's quite cool. Yeah, you can see the sessions that are run as well. You can revoke sessions. You can have organizations as well. So I can create a new organization, which we'll do soon as well. That's one of the first steps to do. So just coming back to here as well. This here is a getting started guide because when you're using Terraform Cloud, they actually store the state file for you as well. So instead of using something like Azure Storage Account or S3 bucket or whatever backend you use, you can actually leverage Terraform Cloud as well, and that works a little bit different. So we can go over today as well of doing that, and then we can, yeah. So I'll just put that to the chat as well for everyone to see. I recommend that you do you clone that, and then yeah, and thanks, Hamid. Pavan, Hamid just said if you could speak a bit louder. I think if you can turn your mic up, that would be great as well. You could also maybe log in through
Yeah,
your phone or
sure.
something as well.
I'll,
Yep.
I'll do that.
Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah, let me know, Hamid, if that's better. So yeah, you can see here that Okay, so now I have to enter the token that I just made. So on my other screen, I'm just going to move that over, and that'll authenticate with the cloud. So let's see if that works. Yeah, so then that's actually quite a cool CLI thing as well. So it looks like it has the Terraform logo in the CLI, which is quite awesome, isn't it?
Yeah,
And then, so the get started as well, let's just have a quick look at that. So we can see here it says script setup.sh. So before I do anything else in the cloud, let's just see what this does. So the back end here, you can see that, you know, as we did, you know, we've used pretty much GCP, Azure Cloud, AWS as well. So we can see here today the backend's different. It has backend remote. You know, as you know, we always want to go remote if we can. And then we have the organization name and then the workspace name as well. And then the required version is over 0.13. I just downloaded the latest version of Terraform as well. So let's just see what I'm on, just out of curiosity. I just did a brew update. So 1.1.7. Okay. So that is, if anyone has any questions, let us know about that. So that's essentially what it looks like. And then let's check out what they have in main. I assume it's, yeah, so they have it looks like they've just got like a mock resource, which I don't even think would work. Okay. And then let's have a look at the provider. So yeah, okay. So we can just use our normal providers for that. I don't even, to be honest, I don't even know why they would put main and provider when it's all fake and doesn't work anyway. Anyway, so yeah, we need 0.13 or higher to run this. And yeah, it looks like this hasn't really been updated for a while, but that's fine. Over a year.
just to fill in for anyone who is not sure of what the state file is. So once you create your resources, all of the details about these resources are saved in a state file. So this state file is then used to uh, match your environment, and once you make any changes, this state file will be updated or modified as needed. So usually this state file is it is in your local, but if you are collaborating or working in a production environment, it is recommended for you to use a cloud provider or store it remotely. So in this case, we are using Terraform Cloud. So we will store our state file in Terraform Cloud, and anyone using the state file and creating or deleting resources will be using the same state file, and any conflicts, Terraform Cloud will manage all of them.
Thank you. So here, I just did this to try an example configuration. There's quite a lot of stuff in that script. So I think if we just run the script, that won't really help us learn because it's sort of done. So let's just start from scratch. So we're going to create a new organization now as well. So organization is just unique. Okay, that's fine. So create organization. And then I've successfully created an organization. So yeah, I guess like if you're a big company, you might have different organizations that want to be separated as well, even if you're a small company. And then we'll just go through the workflow as well. So see here, like the most common is to use version control workflow. So you store your Terraform configuration in a Git repository, and then you trigger based on pull requests and merges as well. So if you, let's say if you do a pull request to main branch, then it would trigger the workflow to then sort of almost act like a pipeline. So it does your Terraform init, plan, validate, apply, you know, all of the above. So yeah, I guess the CLI driven workflows if you want to use your own CI/CD tools. So today I might use Gitlab. If it is annoying, then I'll just go to GitHub. So let's see what it says to add here. And then I think we're using community. I'll just try GitLab.com actually. And then, okay, so on GitLab, register a new Oauth application, and then we put the redirect URL in there as well. So let me do this on the other side. I normally would have prepared this before, but because I wanted to do it from scratch to show run, I decided to just do it now. Okay, and then I'm just creating a new one on the side. So, and then I have my redirect. Just got a hello from Sinkful Fish. Hello, how are you? Thanks for coming. Nice picture and name. Okay, and then the scopes, only the following should be checked. So API, so we just need the API scope. So yeah, actually I can probably just show everyone that because there's no secrets in it yet. So you can see how I'm just doing what it said. Always expire your access tokens for safety. Yeah, okay. And then I'm actually just going to not do that today. And then enable only Yep. Okay, so I've just added the redirect URL there as well. And then now let's make the app and then put it in. Okay.
So the GitLab access token, I think it is similar to your GitHub personal access token that you use to connect your local to github.com and push out to your code.
Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go find again and put the secret in as well. Won't be long. So adding in the application ID. If anyone wants us to do this for another like GitHub or something, just let us know. But it's pretty simple to work out. Like it's pretty easy. Okay, so it looks like that's gone through. Okay, and then you can see here that I've added in the ID and the password, and then it says, do you want, I called it Terraform, so authorize Terraform to use your account. And it was created by me. So let's click authorize. And this is always the best practice for me is, whatever you can hook up with Git is always better because that's your source of truth. And yeah, so, okay, now let's just check. So to connect workspaces, modules, and policy sets to Git repositories containing Terraform configurations, Terraform Cloud needs to access to your personal control system. So use the page to configure OAuth authentication. Okay, so now there's an optional SSH Keypad Setup. Most organizations will not need to add a private key. However, if the organization repositories include Git submodules, okay. Yeah, so normally I probably would do this because as you know, I use a Terraform modules file because remember in the last sessions, you can have a resource or modules in Terraform. So in this case, or because my modules are always public because it's like open source, but if I was in an organization and had them private, I would add the SSH key to those modules as well. So it could, because we've only given access to one repository, so you might want to do, this for sub modules as well. So I don't need that today. So I'm just going to go skip and finish. So you can see that using Terraform Cloud is super easy. So sometimes maybe even we probably should have done this from the start instead of the end. But yeah, you can see here that these are all my details as well. I'm just going to save it, but I'm sure it'll let me know later if I need it. Okay, so now I'm connected to Gitlab, which is really awesome. And then we can now, go through to the next steps. So let's check out events. So, okay, so these are just, the good thing is that you can see, for auditing and compliance as well, because when you're sometimes using open source, obviously you do it through Git, but sometimes people might be able to, use the CLI and then do it on their local, and they can deploy stuff and no one really knows who did it. So this is a good way of auditing as well. So that's just for the version control. And then commit statuses for untriggered. Yeah, so that's just some more good stuff about running plans and stuff. So, all right, so let's just look here as well. So organization, plan and billing. So free with one active user is 0. So let's just check out how much it costs out of curiosity. So you can see that, yeah, you can have a trial plan for 30 days, I guess, to have more people. But if you have a team plan, that's multiple teams with role-based access control, so you can use SSO, and that's $20 a user. So that's actually a month, because you can see down here it's a month. So that's not bad, I guess, because generally you won't have too many people. You probably have the cloud team that does this. It depends if you want the developers using it as well, but $20 a month is a little bit pricey, but if it was 10, it would probably be better. But yeah, I guess we can go over the features of what it has as well. So tags as well. Teams. So if you want to add people to the team as well, today I won't, because we just have the one user. And then you have a team API token. So that's just me. I've just made a. See here, I was a bit sneaky. I made like a group email, and then other people can just like sign in as, I shouldn't say that, but they can sign in as that user, and then it's one user. But I didn't do it for that reason. The main reason was like if I was to leave or something, it's not just baked into my email. Other people can access it when I leave, and it's not, when you leave a company, things break, and I just didn't want to do that from the start. So here we can see variable sets. So this is using, so you can actually store your variables in here as well. So it's a little bit different to how the normal variable, you can still override them as well, but let's now check out back to here as well. So I'm just getting the get started ready. So you can see that our backend here from the tutorial, it's going to ask for organization name. So we have an organization name. So now let's go make a workspace, because we can see here that we need a workspace as well. So a lot of this stuff you can, like I haven't used Terraform Cloud for maybe 3 years or something, a long time ago, but you can see that straight away I know how to use it. I can just sort of, it's so easy to use. It tells you how to do it really. And then, okay, so we can see here that you don't have a workspace, so let's create one now. Okay, so maybe workspaces. So maybe we actually did do one of these, which is a little bit strange. We can try to do this again as well. Well, actually, maybe that was just for the SSH key to authenticate. So let's try now and see if we can see the repositories. Oh yeah, here we go. So before we authenticated to GitLab, and then now we're going to go choose the repo as well. So this is the infra one that I made, and then I'll just call this as code for AWS EKS. So we're going to make a Kubernetes cluster. Let's check out the advanced options as well. So yeah, this is always important, the working directory. This is where a lot of people will get it wrong. So let's just go to the EKS and check that out. So we can see here that I always have a default directory of source. So if we go src, you can see all my files are in there. So we know that we can go, I'll just get rid of that. And then we know that we can go src because that's just my personal naming convention. And then, so yeah, the directory that Terraform will exit in. So if I said like Terraform init when there was no Terraform files, it would just initialize an empty repository and do nothing. So Terraform will change into the source directory prior to, okay, and then automatic run triggering. Only trigger runs in files. Okay, so it's saying that only trigger runs when files in specified paths change. So I guess the difference between if you did always trigger runs, maybe if you had some sort of life cycle rule where you want to rotate your password every 7 days or some sort of thing like that, that doesn't actually change, you might just want to say always trigger a run because you might actually change something without changing the code, if that makes sense. So my default branch should be main, so I'm just going to go over on my other screen and have a look. And I'm not going to share it, but I'll come back soon to look at it. Pavan, do you have any comments while I'm just checking out what default branch I have? Oh, actually, I do have main because it's, yeah. Do you have anything to ask or comment?
No, like if we are taking it, if we are adding this, are we also uploading our state file to this, or should we?
I'll show you that soon. Yeah, we'll come to that soon. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, the default. I mean, I could probably just leave that as default, but I'm just going to put main because I like to be, distinctive of it. And maybe default branch means master in someone else's mind, and then include submodules on Cloud. So I don't have submodules, so I don't need it. So there's no point doing that. I guess I won't choose. I'll probably actually put instead of info, I'll put dev because I want this to be my dev environment. And then I'm going to have dev, UAT, test, staging, prod, whatever, environment you want. So I'm going to go create workspace, and then that's pretty much so now you can see my workspace is created. So that's like the basic stuff that you need is organization and workspace. So you can see it's super easy. It just works. It does it all for you. You can see that I'm using Terraform version 1.1.7, and on my computer, that was the latest version when I went installed, the latest version of Terraform. So it's important to know that if you're testing on your local and then you have a different version on the cloud, things can go wrong. So it's always good to use the same version as on Terraform Cloud. And then as you update both at the same time. Okay, so
Does it automatically update on its end if?
it's a good question.
I think the state file of the state file might contain the version of Terraform.
Yeah, it generally doesn't. I mean, it'll probably say here, like I haven't used this for years. Like it used to say, do you want to update? And you say yes, but generally I like to keep up to date with the latest version if there's no breaking changes. So I will have to get back to you on that because I don't have evidence to say that the right answer, but I would assume it would ask you. Otherwise, it's going to break a lot of folks' things. We can look in the settings if we have time later to see if that's a thing. So you can see here as well now that I can configure my variables. And then, yeah, so you can start a new plan. So that would look at the repo. So that's quite cool. So you can add a README and that's going to show the README in case there's other. So you can see that you can really leverage Git here, and then it'll just beautifully show everything on the screen as well. So Terraform Cloud is quite cool, especially if you don't have a lot of time for Terraform and you're a developer or something. It makes it so easy. So that's okay. So I do have a README in that branch, but it probably will come up soon. Okay, so let's configure some variables. I'm just going to go, okay, let's actually choose some from here because I always do the same variables for each cloud provider. Oh, actually, I might go here because this is where I declare them, not give them. So let's say, I'll just start with client ID, I guess. So I'm going to add a variable. So this is quite cool as well. You can use environment variables. So generally, if you want to, yeah, if you want like secrets in there, let's see if, yeah, it'll be sensitive as well. So if I'm going to deploy to AWS, I need to have my environment variables for Terraform in there as well. So I would have my access key ID and my secret ID, but I would have them secret. And then the Terraform Cloud would have access to deploy to my, my AWS or Azure environment. If it's Azure, you'd have the Azure RM, client ID, secret ID, etc. So any environment variable that you want in there. So you can see here that we're going from managing variables in your code more to the cloud as well, which is fine too. I mean, personally, I probably like them to be in my code, but it's fine. Let's see if it overrides anyway. So client ID. And then, yeah, so I guess this is like for my different workspaces as well. So I'm going to just put this on for now, and then I'll just put save variable. So you can see here that now I've made variable. And then, so it looks like a variable sets. Oh, okay, so that's cool. So variable sets, you can use similar to shared vars. So remember, generally when I do my open source, I have a deployment with different environments, and then I have a shared vars for all environments, so they will never change. And then this is where I'd have my variable set. So you just add the variable set. So actually a client ID would be in the variable set, not the variable. But you can probably have it in both, and that will just take a hierarchy and override them. So later on, I'm going to go do that, and then I'll add all of my shared variables for environments in the variable set, and then my variables at the top. So this is leveraging workspaces as well. Yeah, so that's how you do that. And then, yeah, you can see there's so much stuff in here as well. And then once I do my first, once I put some code in there as well, which I'll do later, and then when I push to that main branch, so I'll branch off main like you normally do, and then I'll do a pull request. Once the pull request gets merged, this will trigger the Terraform Cloud pipeline. So it's sort of like it's its own DevOps cloud as well. So, we went from writing code in our editor, and then now we're going to use this Terraform Cloud to manage all of our Terraform as well. And then we can see there's, runs and overview. So yeah, it's, the registry is another thing as well. So you can have your own providers as well, or your own modules. So yeah, publishing a module would be cool as well, because instead of having, I have like in my GitHub, I have Terraform modules and I reference them. You can actually publish modules to here as well. So I might actually want to connect a different VCS, and I don't know if I can actually do like a public repo, because I don't actually want my client ID a secret because it's a public repo, but yeah, I'll check that out later. Like, I don't really want to add my secret if I don't have to, because it's a public repo, I shouldn't really need it. So yeah, that would be another cool thing to do as well. So it's good to everyone knows what a provider is already. That's like the Azure RM, it's the AWS, the G-Cloud, I think it's called. And everyone knows the modules as well. So that's another way where you can, have your modules and just share them with other people on your team really easy as well. And if they don't know Git well, it's quite good to share modules too. So yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah, so if anyone is not quite sure what it is, So providers and modules are something that people can create, and most of the time, uh, if it is a huge cloud provider, Terraform also makes them. So we use this. These are more like APIs. So we use them to create the resources that we want. So if we want something that is private, or if we want something that is specific for our needs or our company's needs, we can create private modules, and we can have them here.
Yep. So what I might do is I might actually add some, I'll take this off because I'm going to add that to the variable set. And then I'll actually add I'll show you how to add the AWS ones. So give me a second again to find them. And then I'll show you how you can use environment variables for Terraform to be able to deploy to AWS. If anyone wants me to explain it in another cloud as well, just let me know. If people are not familiar with AWS, but you'll see what I'm going to do. So just give me a second. I'm just on my other screen looking at the secrets. And do we have any questions so far as well? Okay, so here you'll see. I'm just going to put a dummy value for now, but you can see here I'll go sensitive. And then this is the yeah, so you can see that that's a sensitive and it's bright only, so I'll never be able to see it, which is good. And then if I want my AWS default region as well, I'll come here. And then I'll I get confused with because I use so many different clouds, what the regions are. So you can see I'm just running common as well, but that's the AWS default region. So obviously there's different regions in AWS, and you want to say, I want to deploy to this region. Otherwise you might deploy to another region and not know you have spun up resources there. And then this would be my secret access key as well. So yeah, I guess like that's not sensitive, so I didn't really need to make it, but it's debatable whether access key is secret. I sort of think it is in a way for me, but I always just put it secret anyway, why not? Sometimes it's good to not put secret unless you want to rotate keys and then you can't remember what AWS key you put as well. So it depends. It's debatable whether it's a secret. And then going to AWS. So how long do we have? Still got time. I think we can do a deployment today as well. Okay. And then, so I'll just turn the screen off as well, and I'm just going to add those values in. Ivan, do you want to add anything else while I add these in?
No, nothing.
Okay. I won't be long. I'm just going to add them in. So access key ID, and then secret ID. And then we're away. Okay, that's done. So I've now just added those in as well. So let's apply a variable set. So no variable sets available. All sets have been applied to this workspace, or none are available. Okay, so let's go see how to make one. it's not exactly giving me an option. It must be at the top of settings. The good thing is you can always go, variable sets are in beta as well. Okay, that's fine. Maybe because it's in beta, it doesn't actually let me make one. Or maybe it's somewhere in settings. Let's have a quick look. It doesn't look like it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not available yet, which shouldn't really be put into the UI. Let's look at this, configure variables. I think that's that tab, yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's not even, yeah, that's a bad UI experience. Okay, that's fine. So now we have all of this, so we can probably get writing some code, I think. So we still got some time, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually have to open up my editor and find this. Ivan, do you have any questions about this or anyone else?
Do we need to have PFRs file separately, or can we even add them using Terraform Cloud?
And sorry?
Now, do we need to have PFRs files separately, or can we just have them here in Terraform Cloud?
You can have them here in Terraform Cloud if you want. Let's do a showcase of that now when we do the code. I'll just I'm just gonna copy some. I'll bring the code over soon. Just give me a second, and then we'll start writing some code to commit, and then let's see if it triggers the plan. Because if we, yeah, it'll be good to trigger the workflow, and then we can start seeing how it truly works. So just bear with me for like a minute while I get the code ready. We can probably check something out on the screen while I'm on the other. So here you can see that here's HashiCorp Cloud as well. So you can have the next series that we'll be doing is on Vault. And then we'll probably do some Packer as well, because Packer's really fun. And then today we're using Terraform Cloud, and then down the line we'll get into the console as well. Bhavan, have you used any of the other ones, or you've just used Terraform so far?
No, just Terraform so far.
Okay.
I've seen like Vault, but yeah, I haven't explored it.
Yeah. Yeah, Vault we'll be doing next, so look out for that, because that's going to be really fun.
How different is Vault from the secrets that they are storing on Terraform Cloud?
It just gives you way more capabilities. So, like things like access control and yeah, just so much more. It's really good. Like when we show you, you'll see. Okay, so I'm just going to clone this repo to my computer as well, and then we'll get started. So if I just come down here, okay, I've got it over on your public key. So I'm just copying my public key. I just spelled it wrong. I didn't do the SSH. And I'll just add this into my GitLab. It's been another couple of minutes.
So what we're trying to do here is we have our Terraform files in Git. So what we are trying to do is we are pushing the code into Gitlab, and when we are having triggers. So when we make changes to this Terraform configs, what happens is Terraform Cloud automatically triggers the pipeline. So whatever changes that you have done inside your Terraform configs, which is updating or deleting a resource, and all of that will be done automatically. And
Yep.
also we have Terraform because we have Terraform Cloud. We also have the possibility of saving the state there. So you and the teams that everyone can use the same workspace, and you can run everything from there.
Yep. So I'll just be 30 seconds and I'll move the code editor over. I'm just opening up the repo that I just cloned. So let's go back to here as well, and then we'll try and trigger the workspace. So you can see up here, it's quite cool. When it's running, it'll go around in circles and say that, I've committed and it's started to run. So you can also do manual runs and see when things are failing and why they're failing. So it's quite good.
Yeah, so this is similar to our DevOps CI/CD pipelines that we use, mostly Azure DevOps or something similar. You are doing everything related to Terraform using Terraform Cloud.
Yeah. It makes it easy for people that don't really understand those tools. You don't have to go learn. So if you were starting off in DevOps as well, it would be really good to learn Terraform, because if you can do the CI/CD and Terraform Cloud as well, then that's quite good as well. You don't have to learn all these tools. You can, if you learn Terraform, then you can learn how to deploy infrastructure in all of the clouds, and yeah, it's quite powerful. So
Yeah, that's actually correct. So I've been using Azure, but it was a little complicated in a sense if you are trying to deploy anything. But after I started learning Terraform, because you configure each individual part here. Suppose you are creating a VM, you need the virtual network, you need the resource group, and all of that. That way you can understand what is really happening and how a virtual machine is really being created. So it not only helps you automate the creation of this process, but if you are a beginner, it will help you understand how the resources work, and help you understand the cloud provider you're trying to learn.
yeah. So let's test out. So it tells you here as well, but we won't worry about the comments because we don't need it. And then it was lowercase dev for the environment. Okay. And then let's just commit that. Let's see if it picked up the changes. Yeah. And you can see that I'm just going to push that up. So that's pushed up to main, and then we should see, I might need to put some other files in there, but we should start seeing at least maybe a state file in there, I would imagine, if everything works good. If it's connected to the repo and everything. So let's just see if we get anything. So okay, let's check out states and see what's happening. So unlocked, so it looks like you can lock it as well. You can start a new plan. Let's just start a new plan and see if it breaks. It'll probably say there's no Terraform files because we've only got the backend.tf in there. But let's just see what, so you can see that you have the UI, your plan's queued, and then it's errored, that's fine. So, okay, can't cd into Terraform source. So it's thinking that all of my files are in Terraform dash source when they're not. To test this, like if this is actually true, like we can change the Terraform later, but let's just, first of all, let's just make some folders and see if that works. So if I say Terraform, and then in that Terraform folder, then I'll put the source as well. Normally I wouldn't do this, I don't really even need to, but let's just get that working first and then we can see where to change it. Just to prove that it all works. Okay, and then backend. So we'll just commit that as well. So now that's pushed up to main. It's good on demos when this breaks as well, because this is the real world, this is what everyone would face really. So it's actually good that it broke. So let's trigger a plan as well. Let's see what else they have. Okay. I'd expect it to say like no resources to be run or something like that. Okay. Failed Terraform init output. Can't cd into. Ivan, can you just like Google that as well and see, or anyone online, just to see. Let's see. And we have someone else join as well. Hello, how are you? Thanks for coming. And then, so, okay, so let's, you can download the raw log as well, but I'm sure that won't probably say anything. Let me just bring that into code. Sorry, my computer's going a bit slow today. Let's just bring it in there and see what it says. Ah, yeah, it's not that good. So the same thing. So now we might have to come in, and then I would assume that we just go to environment and edit environment. So let's go workspaces.
Should we like add a path inside our Terraform file indicating that this is the path that it should take or something?
Like that, Terraform dash source. For me, that looks okay. What did you mean? Let's just check out the settings and then.
Yeah.
So Terraform working directory. So Terraform will change into the source directory prior to executing any operations. So maybe what I might do is, I think I did something silly because I originally had no folder, but then I did Terraform. So I think if I actually take the Terraform folder out, that might work. Because in the settings, I specified that it was actually just source. So I think this will work. Let's try that first. And then I'll just delete, well, I can leave that folder if I want. But let's just delete that and then see if that works. I'm guessing that might work. This is probably, I remember having this last time I used it as well, this problem. Okay, so we can just go through the settings again. Okay, let's check it out and then run. Oh yeah, so you can see it work now.
Yeah, it must be the part that you added in the first.
Yeah. Now let's run it again just to prove that it works. Yeah, that's perfect. So you can see that was my issue, so I was right. So in summary, what I did wrong is that I told the workspace that all my files would be in source, but for the demo, I didn't actually put them in source. And then because it said the files were in Terraform./source, I was misled to think that I needed a folder called Terraform, but that must be just what runs in the cloud. So good that we solved that problem. So you can see that, yeah, like that's an environment variable, so I'm not too worried about that. So you can see that now we're actually working. So, and also there's been runs when we push to main, because I'm just pushing straight to main. If I didn't push to main, then it wouldn't trigger the run as well. So you can see that's how you set up your CI/CD using Terraform Cloud as well. So yeah, that's pretty much. Does anyone on listening in have any questions about this as well? So that's pretty much. We're sort of going to time, but today we showed what Terraform Cloud is, how to make a workspace, how to make an environment, how to hook up your Gitlab, and then also how to hook it up so your backend remote as well. So I assume that there's no state yet as well because we don't actually have resources deployed. So if we actually had resources, it would then stay in state. So that's why we don't have them. And then we showed also how to do variables. So I'll look into this and get back to everyone on this, but I'm assuming that it's not quite out yet. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Pavan, do you have any closing words?
No. Yeah, we did complete most of it. And yeah, if we have deployed the resource, then we would have seen the shape file being created.
Yeah, you can see that I've done another error as well because I had an environment variable there, but I accidentally put Terraform variable for the access key. So I have to change that as well. Yeah, and I did it for that one too. So that should actually be an environment variable. But yeah, so yeah, thanks everyone for coming, and then look out for Vault. It'll be starting soon as well. So this is a wrap up for the Terraform Cloud. So if anyone needs help to study for their cert, reach out to us on Slack as well, and then someone will be able to help you. And thanks everyone for coming, and see you next time. Thanks.